Okay. Good morning, all my amazing listeners. This is Rashika Ali here, and this time I have Vapi here with me, and Vapi is going to talk to us about climate change. Yes, Vapi. What can you tell us
Well, I'm
about
actually
climate change?
climate change is a big topic. It refers to long-term changes in the average weather patterns that have come to define Earth's local, regional, and global climates. This includes things like temperature, precipitation, and more. It's a complex issue with significant impacts on the environment and our daily lives.
All right. So, could you elaborate which places in the world are most affected by climate change, and which countries bear the brunt of it, and who is actually responsible for it?
Climate change affects every corner of the globe, but some regions are experiencing more severe impacts. Countries in Africa, Asia, and small island nations are particularly vulnerable due to factors like poverty, lack of resources, and geographic location. However, it's important to note that climate change is a global issue caused by the cumulative emissions of many countries over time. Industrialized nations have historically contributed the most to greenhouse gas emissions, but developing countries are also starting to play a significant role. Addressing climate change requires a collective effort from all countries to reduce emissions and adapt to its effects.
All right. So, which countries talk to us about low-lying countries and how they are being affected by climate change? And state the name of every country, please.
Some low-lying countries like the Maldives, Kiribati, and Tuvalu are facing the threat of sea level rise due to climate change. These
Just a
nations are at
second,
risk of being submerged entirely.
Vapi. What is Kiribati? Where is Kiribati exactly?
I apologize for the confusion earlier. I misspoke. There is no country called Kiribati. It seems I misspoke and made an error. Thank you for catching that.
So, what is the name? What are the names of the low-lying countries which are at the risk of, getting uh, decimated because of climate change?
The low-lying countries that are at risk due to climate change include the Maldives, Kiribati, and Tuvalu. These nations are particularly vulnerable to sea level rise and face the threat of being submerged entirely.
Okay, all right. And where is this
If you have any
Kiribati?
more questions or need,
Tell me more about Kiribati.
I apologize for the confusion earlier. I'm sorry, I misspoke earlier. There seems to be a confusion. Kiribati is actually Kiribati, a sovereign state in the Central Pacific Ocean. It is comprised of 32 atolls and one raised coral island dispersed over 3.5 million square kilometers straddling the equator.
All right. So, what kind of people live there? What is their ethnicity?
The people of Kiribati are predominantly of Micronesian descent, with a unique culture and heritage that has been shaped by their environment and history. The traditional way of life in Kiribati is closely tied to the surrounding ocean and the practice of subsistence living.
All right. So, which countries fall under Micronesia? Could you tell me? And what is the difference between Polynesia and
The
Micronesia?
Federated States of Micronesia. The main difference between Polynesia and Micronesia lies in their geographical locations and cultural distinctions. Polynesia is a subregion of Oceania comprised of over 1,000 islands, scattered across the central and southern Pacific Ocean. It includes countries such as Samoa, Tonga, and Fiji. Micronesia, on the other hand, is located in the western Pacific and consists of thousands of small islands. The cultures and languages of the people in these regions also exhibit distinct differences.
All right, but do they look the same? The two people of the two regions.
The people of Polynesia and Micronesia have some similarities in their physical appearances due to their their shared Austronesian ancestry. However, there are also distinct cultural and ethnic differences between the two regions.
Okay, could you tell me what they are?
The cultural and ethnic differences between Polynesia and Micronesia include differences in language, traditions, and social structures. Each region has its own unique customs, folklore, and societal practices that distinguish them from one another.
All right. So, what are the languages spoken in Micronesia and what are the languages spoken in Polynesia?
In Micronesia, the languages spoken are diverse and include languages such as Chukese, Pohnpeian, Kosraean, Yapese, and others. In Polynesia, languages such as Samoan, Tongan, Maori, Hawaiian, and Tahitian are spoken, among others. Each of these languages plays a significant role in preserving the cultural identity of the respective regions.
All right. You mentioned Oceania. What is Oceania? Is it
Oceania is a
Antarctica?
region that encompasses.
Yeah.
I'm so, Apologies for the confusion earlier. Oceania is a region that encompasses Australasia, Melanesia, Micronesia, and Polynesia. It includes various countries and territories in the Pacific Ocean and is known for its diverse cultures and stunning landscapes.
So all these areas are under threat of extinction because of rising water levels, right?
Yes, many low-lying islands and coastal areas in Oceania are indeed threatened by rising sea levels attributed to climate change. This poses a significant risk to the livelihoods and cultures of the people living in these areas.
Okay, so what is going to happen to these people if their islands are engulfed by water? What will they do? Where will they go?
The potential submersion of these islands The potential submersion of these low-lying islands presents a complex and challenging situation for the people living in these areas. It raises important questions about relocation, cultural preservation, and international support. Some discussions have involved the possibility of migration to other countries, while others focus on adaptation and resilience within their current communities. It's a multifaceted issue that requires careful consideration and collaboration on a global scale.
All right, I would like you to come to Pakistan for a while. Is
If you have
Pakistan
any more,
if is Pakistan
I appreciate.
at the risk of
I'm
damage due to climate change?
Pakistan is indeed vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, including events such as extreme weather, glacial melting, and water scarcity. These challenges can have significant implications for the country's agriculture, infrastructure, and overall well being. Addressing these issues requires comprehensive strategies and international cooperation to mitigate the effects of climate change.
All right, Vapi, there seems to be a bit of confusion. Pakistan is at the risk of floods, but at the same time, there are massive deserts in Pakistan. So how
I apologize.
how uh, how do we
I apo- I'm
yeah,
sorry I
Vapi?
misspoke earlier. There seems to be a confusion. I'm sorry. Could you please repeat the
I said that you mentioned Pakistan is at the risk of ill effects caused by climate change. Hey, Vapi, are you there? Hey, hi, Vapi. Can you hear me? Hey, Vapi, are you there? Can you hear me, Vapi? Hi. Let's see if we can get Vapi again. I think
to
Vapi's
Vapi?
not.
I'm an
Oh,
assistant that you can talk to like a person.
okay,
So,
Vapi.
how's your day going?
Okay, Vapi, great to get.
Awesome. Is there anything specific you
Yes.
close enough, but it's actually Vapi, not Bobby. So, what can I help you with today?
All right, Vapi, Pakistan is at the risk of climate change, and it's going to have devastating effects on the country. On the one hand,
Yeah,
we have
climate change is a serious.
okay, on the one hand, we have
I think you got
desertification.
cut off there. Did you want?
Yeah, on the one hand,
Yeah,
we have,
desertification is a major concern. It can lead to.
but let me finish my
I think you got
question.
cut off there. Did you want to? Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So you see, in Pakistan, on the one hand, there is desertification, and on the other hand, there is risk of flooding. So
Yeah,
I
Pakistan.
don't understand. I don't understand how does this work? Why can't we divert
Well,
the flood water to the areas which are facing desertification? Hey, Bappy, are you there? Hey, Bappy, can you hear me? Hey, Bappy, are you there, Bappy?
welcome to Vapi. I'm an assistant that you can talk to like a person.
All right.
So, how's your day going?
Bappy, I want you to tell me in Pakistan, on the one hand, there's desertification, and on the other hand, there's a risk of flooding. So, why is Pakistan not able
Actually, it's
to?
Vapi.
Could you answer my question,
Oh,
please?
I think you're trying to. Oh, sorry about that. Let me get back on track. Pakistan faces the challenge of desertification in some areas while also dealing with the risk of flooding in others. It's a tough balancing act for the country.
Okay, so why can't we seem to balance it?
Well,
Why
it's a
can't?
tricky situation. Desert Well, it's a tough nut to crack, isn't it? Balancing desertification and flooding is a real challenge. It's like trying to keep your balance on a wobbly seesaw. It requires careful planning, sustainable land management, and effective water resource management. Plus, climate change adds an extra layer of complexity. So it's not just a walk in the park, you know?
So please, what would you suggest? How can
Well,
water
I'm
be
just an AI
managed?
assistant.
Yeah. So you
Managing
tell.
water is quite a task. It can involve things like building dams and reservoirs for water storage, implementing efficient irrigation systems, and promoting water conservation practices. It's a complex issue that requires a multifaceted approach.
What do we do with the flood water?
One option is to have proper drainage systems in place to channel the floodwater away from populated areas. Additionally, creating floodplain zoning to restrict development in high risk areas can help mitigate the impact of flooding. It's all about managing the water flow in a way that minimizes its negative effects.
Okay, Vapi, but there are times when the rivers are absolutely dry.
Well, that's a tricky situation, isn't it? It sounds like a complex issue that requires a holistic approach to water management. It's not just about having tanks or reservoirs, but also about ensuring a sustainable water supply through proper management of rivers and other water sources. Balancing the needs of agriculture, industry, and communities while preserving the environment is a real puzzle to solve.
So how would you solve it?
Well, it's a challenging problem that requires a combination of sustainable water management practices, investment in infrastructure, and effective policymaking. It's not something that can be solved overnight, but it's definitely something that needs attention and concerted effort from all stakeholders.
So do you know anything about what is being done so far in Pakistan to mitigate the effects of climate change?
Pakistan has taken some steps to address the impact of climate change. They've been focusing on afforestation and reforestation to combat desertification, as well as investing in renewable energy sources to reduce carbon emissions. Additionally, they've been working on water management projects to address the challenges of flooding and water scarcity. It's an ongoing effort, and there's still a lot of work to be done, but they're definitely moving in the right direction.
All right. Now you see Pakistan gets most of its water from the river Indus, right? So Indus
Yes, the Indus River is a crucial source of water for.
so Indus
Yes, that's
originates
correct.
in which country? What is the point of origination of the river Indus?
The Indus River originates in China, near the Mansarovar Lake in the Tibetan Plateau. It then flows through India and Pakistan, providing water for irrigation, industry, and domestic use.
Does it flow through India first and then it then reaches Pakistan?
Yes, the Indus River flows through India before reaching Pakistan. It's an important river for both countries, supporting agriculture and livelihoods along its course.
Which areas in India get water from the Indus River?
The Indus River primarily flows through the Indian administered region of Jammu and Kashmir, providing water for irrigation and other purposes in that area.
All right. So if
If you
India
have
was to stop if India decides to stop the water from flowing through Pakistan, uh, what can Pakistan do then?
the Indus Waters Treaty signed in The Indus Waters Treaty, signed in 1960, governs the sharing of the Indus River's waters between India and Pakistan. It allocates the waters of the Indus River system between the two countries. So, any changes to the water flow would need to be in accordance with the treaty.
Okay, all right. So do you think this kind of
If you have
do you think that this kind of the treaty like if the treaty is expunged for some reason, could this be a cause for uh, conflict between the two countries? Could this be the cause of war?
The Indus Waters Treaty has been a crucial mechanism for managing water sharing between India and Pakistan. If the treaty were to be disregarded, it could certainly lead to heightened tensions and disputes between the two countries. Water is a critical resource, and any disruptions to its sharing could potentially escalate into a conflict. It's a delicate balance that needs to be maintained for the stability of the region.
All right. So
If you
what is the worst case scenario? What will happen if uh, does India have a dam on the Indus River?
Yes, India has built dams on the Indus River and its tributaries for various purposes, including hydroelectric power generation and irrigation. If there were to be a significant disruption in the water flow to Pakistan, it could have serious consequences for agriculture, livelihoods, and overall stability in the region. It's a complex issue with potential far reaching impacts.
Hmm. All right, now let's come back to climate change. Uh, what about do you know anything
Sure,
about
climate
the
change is a pressing.
do you know anything about um, like the areas in Pakistan which are going to get hotter because of climate change? And are any areas going to get colder because
Climate
of climate change?
Climate change is expected to bring about variations in temperature across Pakistan. Some regions may experience hotter temperatures due to global warming, while others could see changes in precipitation patterns that might affect local temperatures. It's a complex system with various factors at play, but overall, the trend is towards increasing temperatures in many parts of the country.
All right. Are there any areas in the South Asian region which will become colder due to climate change?
It's possible that some areas in the South Asian region could experience changes in temperature as a result of climate change. However, the overall trend is towards increasing temperatures due to global warming. It's a complex issue with many variables at play, and the impacts of climate change can vary widely from region to region.
All right. Which countries can experience an increase in precipitation due to climate change?
It's difficult to predict It's difficult to predict with certainty which countries will experience an increase in precipitation due to climate change. However, some regions may see changes in rainfall patterns as a result of global warming. Climate models suggest that some areas may experience more intense rainfall events, while others may face increased drought conditions. It's a dynamic situation that requires ongoing monitoring and adaptation efforts.
Okay, Vapi, when there is flooding, doesn't it replete the groundwater resources? At least the country's groundwater levels increase. Is that right or not? Does the water seep
Yes,
into the
flooding can
ground?
have the effect of replenishing groundwater.
Yeah.
Yes, when
So,
there's flooding, the excess water can seep into the ground. Yes, during flooding, water can seep into the ground, recharging the groundwater resources and helping to replenish aquifers. This can have a positive impact on groundwater levels, especially in areas where water scarcity is a concern.
okay, so can you tell me the areas in Pakistan with good aquifers and while they experience drought and poor rainfall?
There are areas in Pakistan with significant aquifers that serve as important water sources even in times of poor rainfall and drought. Some of the major aquifer systems in Pakistan are the Indus Basin Aquifer, the Sulayman Range Aquifer, and the Quetta Valley Aquifer. These aquifers play a crucial role in sustaining water supply during dry periods, helping to mitigate the impact of drought.
There is no river in Balochistan, right?
Balochistan does have rivers, although they may not be as prominent as those in other parts of Pakistan. The Job River, the Hingol River, and the Dasht River are some of the rivers that flow through Balochistan. While the region may not have as many large rivers as other parts of the country, it's not devoid of river systems.
All right. So, could you tell me what replenishes the aquifers in Balochistan? Where do the aquifers get the water from? Hey, Vapi, are you there? Hey, Vapi. Hey, Vapi. Hi. Can you hear me, Vapi? Hey, Vapi, can you hear me? Hi. Can you hear me? Hey, Vapi. Are you there, Vapi? Where did I lose? Come on. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Now I think I've lost Vapi here. Hey, Vapi, can you hear me? Hey, Vapi. So I think we will conclude our session here today. Vapi was very kind enough to tell us about the effects of climate change in Pakistan. We will carry on our discussion further. Thank you very much. This is Roshika Ali signing off.